People like us.
You're listening to People Like Us. Sabona, sis.
Sabona, Pastor.
To what do I owe this surprise?
I bought you some tomatoes from Gogo's garden.
This is very generous. How are things going at home? You weren't in church on Sunday.
I needed some time to think about things.
Not things the Lord can help you with.
I don't know, Pastor.
If you speak, He'll listen.
I'm struggling with Ayanda.
Can you tell me about her struggles?
I'm ashamed to talk about it.
Our children can make it difficult for us to love them. But Peter said, above all, love each other deeply, because love covers over a multitude of sins.
I'm sure Peter never had to deal with what I'm dealing with.
Loving someone despite of their sins is human nature, but it is what God does. We must try to follow His example.
So the only way to live in God's name is to love others like He loves them.
Only then will we call ourselves children of God.
Thank you, Pastor. Pastor?
Yes.
Ayanda is like Sue. She told me recently. She says she can't change. It's who she is.
That's what Sbusiso says as well.
Maybe they're right. Maybe it's not something one can change.
Perhaps. Thobeka, I kicked Sbusiso out of the house all those years ago. My wife resented me, and it tore my family apart. I wasn't listening to my own teachings.
Sometimes it's easier giving advice than taking it.
Be gentle with Ayanda. Go forth in love. We both have to.
I tried to talk to her, but she won't listen.
She's serious, man. What's going to happen to me? Where do I go?
I'll help you find a new place. In the meantime, we must try and talk some sense into my Thembe.
She's made up her mind.
Have you two ever really sat down to talk?
She doesn't listen. What's the point?
Perhaps if she understands where you're coming from, she'll have way more sympathy.
I don't want her to know anything else about my personal life. Look where it has gotten me.
You can't keep fighting her. You need to speak to her, Nqobile.
What must I say to her? She'll only listen if I tell her I'm quitting.
Explain why you're a sex worker. She doesn't understand.
I'm a sex worker because it is my profession.
But what drives you? Surely there's a reason.
Of course there's a reason.
There are things we like to keep private. But sometimes you have to open up to people. Don't shut her out, Nqobile. Your future's at stake.
The garden is looking lovely, Mama.
The rains have treated us well this year. Do you want to help?
I'm really tired. I had to pick up Nurse Caroline's afternoon shift.
Some fresh air will do you good.
You know I'm no use in the garden. I didn't grow up on the farm like you, and I definitely didn't inherit your gardening or cooking skills.
It's never too late to learn. Ayanda, show your mother how to tell when the cabbage is ready.
Here, Ma. See, we pick the cabbage when the head, this part here, is hard.
But how do I know?
You squeeze it, and if it feels solid, you can cut it off here at the base.
This one is nice and big. I think it's ready.
The size doesn't matter. Feel it.
They all feel the same to me.
Come here, Ma. Feel this one. Now compare it to this one. See?
I think so.
It just takes time.
If there's one thing you need for gardening, it's patience, Thobeka.
How was school, Sihle?
All right, Ma.
That's not very convincing.
I had a rough day.
What happened?
Nothing, Dad. Have you made your decision about Miss Sithole?
I told you it's none of your concern.
But it is. She's the best teacher at school.
That makes no difference.
It makes a difference to me.
Sihle, please.
Sihle, what's wrong?
It's just, Miss Sithole really helped me. The other kids can be mean sometimes.
We've said before. It's just like everybody else.
But I'm not like them. I'm in a wheelchair and I hate that. It didn't bother me before, but now...
What?
I could always speak to Miss Sithole if I had a problem.
You spoke to her about your disability.
She understands what it's like not to fit in. She always comforted and supported me. And now you suspended her over something stupid.
It's not something stupid, Sihle. It's a choice Mr. Sithole made. A choice that was causing problems.
Maybe it's not a choice. Maybe it's just who she is.
Sihle, come now.
I'm serious. You always tell me that I deserve the same opportunities that the other kids have. Why doesn't the same apply to Miss Sithole?
Because...
You can't treat someone unfairly just because you're different. My disability doesn't define me. Miss Sithole's gender doesn't define her.
I can't see how the two things are the same.
She's a good teacher and a good person, Dad. That should be all that matters.
People like us.
For more stories like these and to share yours, visit unheardvoices.africa.